Two Chairs No Waiting, episode number 325, Allan Melvin. Two Chairs No Waiting is brought to you each week by the fine folks over at Weaver's Department Store. Drop by over at Weaver's and check out all the great Mayberry things they've got over there. If you haven't ever been to weaversdepartmentstore.com, you really ought to go check it out because they have all kinds of things Mayberry fans are going to love, including t-shirts, woven throws, games, DVDs, CDs, all kinds of stuff at weaversdepartmentstore.com. Two Chairs No Waiting is also brought to you by donations from listeners just like you. The executive producer of episode number 325 is going to be Mark and Mary Inger. Thank you, Mark and Mary. Now, Mark and Mary didn't actually donate necessarily to the show, but they sent me this really cool little diorama that you can't see unless you're on the video. But even if you are, let me describe it to you. It's like a shadow box, and it has a barber chair in the bottom and a checkerboard, and it's got a big picture of Andy and Barney in the background. It says Floyd's Barbershop, and if you look around inside, there's a newspaper sitting on the barber chair that says, "Local barber captures escaped convicts." And there's a Two Chairs No Waiting sign on one of the walls, and obviously the haircut sign. It's all kinds of really cool stuff, and I want to thank Mark and Mary for sending this to me. It made my day. It was like Christmas when I opened it. This is very nice of them, so thank you. And if you want to support the show by sending me cool things like that, I can definitely make you an executive producer. So thank you very much. That was very, very kind of you. Hello, everybody. My name is Allan Newsom. If you don't know, instead of just somebody that's asking for you to send them gifts, I'm the host here at Two Chairs No Waiting, and I run imayberry.com and several other sites, all related to the Andy Griffith Show. And it is always a pleasure to spend time in Mayberry, and I'm so glad you're here with me. This episode, we're going to talk about Allan Melvin. Allan Melvin, the man of 1,000 voices and 8 Mayberry characters. That's right. So this comes from The Bullet. Now, The Bullet was the official newsletter of the Andy Griffith Show Rerun Watchers Club. This is from volume 14, issue 12, from November 15th. 1979. Wow, a few years back, guys, but it is awesome. It's a great story by Jim Clark where he interviewed Allan Melvin, and we're going to run through that. I hope you're going to enjoy it. I know you're going to, because Jim does a great job talking with these actors that are part of The Bullet. So if you don't have The Bullet, there were 51 issues of The Bullet, and you can get back issues, not all of them, but there's about 33 left, and you can head over to Weaver's and look at the Bullet section, and you can actually buy 30 to 33 issues of the Bullet. I'm not sure which it is. There's 33 still around, and you can go and check out all the different profiles that were done in these all these different issues of the Bullet that are available. You ought to go check them out because they have great stories like the one you're about to hear. So if you head over to Weaver's, you can check that out. This one is called Allan Melvin, Man of 1,000 Voices and 8 Mayberry Characters. All right. So if you're ready, I guess I am. So let me get a little bit of background music going. Oh, there we go. Isn't that nice? And let's get this show on the road. So here we go, folks, for our great thing that Jim Clark wrote for us, the presiding goober of the Andy Griffith Show. Allan Melvin, Man of 1,000 Voices and 8 Mayberry Characters, by Jim Clark. Allan Melvin is one of the most familiar faces and voices in all of TV. Was born in Kansas City, Missouri on February 18th, 1923. His parents were Marie and Richard Melvin, a film salesman for Fox Film Association. When Allan was a young boy, he and his family moved to New York City, the heart of the radio entertainment industry. Quote, "I essentially grew up in New York," end quote, Allan says. But from an early age, Allan enjoyed using his voice in amusing ways and making funny faces. Quote, "I always had that ability to do impressions," end quote. Though Allan was around the fringes of the entertainment business, he didn't really make his first foray into the business until after first seeing how he liked college. He attended Columbia University, but after a couple of years, he decided that wasn't the right direction for him. Allan, who later would become best known for his role as Men in Uniform, was himself part of the military machine when he helped build DEs for the U.S. Navy at Port Newark, New Jersey during World War II. But entertainment would be Allan's calling. Through networking, he got a job in radio. Quote, "I got involved in sound effects business at NBC," he says. "I met," British comedian, "Peter Donald there. We became good friends and he helped me get a feel for the business," end quote. Fans of the 50s game shows will remember Peter Donald as a frequent host and panelist. Quote, "Peter was instrumental in opening some doors for me," says Allan. It was during this time that Allan met the love of his life, actress Amelia Sestro. Allan remembers, quote, "Amelia and some college acting friends, including Frank Campanella and Thomas Dermott, had started a theatrical group, the Unicorn Players, and Frank invited me to one of their meetings, and the die was cast," end quote. In 1994, Allan and Amelia celebrated their 50th anniversary. Quote, "In about 1947, I met Richard Condon of the Manchurian Candidate and Prizzi's Honors fame. We became close friends, and Richard arranged an audition for me with Barry Josephson, owner of Cafe Society downtown, where I appeared for 3 months on the bill with Nellie Lucher and Rose Murphy. I was billed as the man of 1,000 voices, with witty comedy routine written for me by Richard Condon. From his appearances as a mimic on the New York nightclub scene, Allan became noticed for other areas of entertainment. He appeared on Arthur Godfrey's Talent Scouts on radio and won. Then it was on to Broadway and a featured role as Reed in the hit Stalag 17, which was produced by Richard Condon and Jose Ferrer. Allan performed on the show for 1 year on Broadway and 1 year in a tour of the country. Allan then returned to New York City, where he continued comedy club and radio work and began appearing on some TV shows. His first big splash into TV was the role of Corporal Henshaw, sidekick to Phil Silvers, on creator Nat Hiken's You'll Never Get Rich, Phil Silvers show, a.k.a. Sergeant Bilko. Allan worked on Sergeant Bilko from 1955 to 1959. Tax producer Aaron Rubin wrote and directed Bilko during the 1957 and through 59 seasons. Quote, "Aaron was very helpful in my career, and Bilko was a wonderful experience," Allan says. "We kibitzed all around and had a lot of fun." Like so many others show business people in New York, Allan began to see the writing on the wall during the late 1950s. He knew that in order to survive in the booming TV market, he needed to be in Los Angeles. So in 1962, at Aaron Rubin's behest, Allan and Amelia and daughters Amelia and Jennifer made their way to the West Coast. One of Allan's first acting jobs out west was as Rob Petrie's army buddy, Saul Pomeranza, on The Dick Van Dyke Show in 1961. His first of 8 The Andy Griffith Show appearances was as trailer park fugitive Clarence Doc Malloy in Jailbreak. That was episode 50 of The Andy Griffith Show. Quote, "I didn't really play that many heavies in my career, besides a guest appearance on Route 66, but I was always a heavy on Andy. It seemed like I was on it, The Andy Griffith Show, more than I was," end quote. As far as any specific memories about working on The Andy Griffith Show, Allan says he really doesn't have any favorite anecdotes. He laughs and good-naturedly echoes a familiar Hollywood line, quote, "I say the words, I take the money, and I pop off home," end quote. But he adds, quote, "I always enjoyed doing the show. We had a lot of fun doing it, and they were a great bunch. Andy and I hit it off right away, and between Aaron and Andy, I never for a moment felt like the new kid on the block," end quote. And Mayberry fans, likewise, have always enjoyed his performances on The Andy Griffith Show. His 8 different roles in 5 different seasons are a record for the show, both for the number of pivotal guest star roles and for the number of different roles by an actor. In addition to Jailbreak, Allan's other Andy Griffith Show appearances were as hotel detective in Andy and Barney in the Big City, episode number 57. That was in 1962. Troublesome produce vendor Neil in Lawman Barney, episode number 73 in 1962. Jake, Mert Hubcap Lesch's accomplice, in Barney's First Car, episode 90 in 1963. Army recruiter Sergeant Pratt in Ernest T. Bass Joins the Army, that's episode number 99. And the escaped prisoner in Andy's Vacation, episode 118, both in 1964. Judo recipient Fred Plummer in Barney's Uniform, episode number 135 in 1964, and Clyde Plott in Howard's Main Event, episode 222 in 1967. During that time, Allan appeared in several installments of the last season, 1964 through 65, of the popular Joey Bishop's Show. He also continued his association with Mayberry Enterprises production team and producer Aaron Rubin when he once again put on a uniform, this time as Sergeant Charlie Hacker, Sergeant Carter's nemesis in the last 4 seasons, 65 through 69, of Gomer Pyle USMC. Other TV shows that Allan worked on during the 1960s and early 70s included episodes of McHale's Navy, Empire, The Danny Thomas Show, The Bill Dana Show, My Favorite Martian, Perry Mason, The Jackie Gleason Show, Ben Casey, Slattery's People, Green Acres, Run Buddy Run, The Partridge Family, Arnie, Mayberry IFD, and 3 episodes of Love American Style. He also matched his Andy Griffith Show tally for episodes with total of 8 episodes of The Dick Van Dyke Show. Fans of the Brady Bunch remember Allan as Sam Franklin, the butcher who dated Alice Nelson, the housekeeper, for 4 seasons, 1969 through 1973. Prior to his Brady work, Allan's impressive work with Norman Lear on a TV pilot called Barnaby and Mr. O'Malley, which didn't sell, planted the seeds that eventually led to his getting the part of Barney Heffer, Archie Bunker's pal on All in the Family, 1973 through 1979. Allan's 10-year stint as Barney grew in prominence as the focus of the Bunkers shifted away from the Bunker household and more toward Archie's bar in Archie Bunker's Place from 79 to 83. Quote, All in the Family broke ground for a new wave in television, Allan says. The Bunkers were the first real family in TV, and it was exciting to be a part of this honest and forthright transition to reality. It was a great cast, and everyone's input was welcomed. I was Carol O'Connor's friend and neighbor on the show, and I still am today. End quote. Allan's one venture into feature films is filled with the Andy Griffith Show connections. He played the desk sergeant in With 6, You Get Egg Roll, 1968, which was directed by Howard Morris, and whose screenwriters included Allan's pals and top Andy Griffith Show writers Harvey Bullock and Ray Allen. A few years earlier, Allan had starred in a pilot called Man in the Middle, which was also written by Harvey and Ray. Along with stars Doris Day, Brian Keith, Barbara Hershey, and George Carlin, Allan was joined in Egg Roll by at least 6 other actors who appeared in Mayberry. Quote, that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed working with Doris Day and Brian Keith. End quote. As testimony to Allan's versatility, he was Al the Plumber on Liquid Plumber commercials for 15 years during the 70s and 80s. Quote, that's thanks to the good services of Howard Morris, who directed the spots and is a good friend, end quote. But as familiar as Allan Melvin's face is to millions of TV viewers during the past 4 decades, it is perhaps his voice that is even more famous. Likely his best-known voiceover subject is Magilla Gorilla on the popular Magilla Gorilla Show. He also contributed voices to The Flintstones, The Chattanooga Cats, King Features Trilogy, the all-new Popeye Hour as Bluto, and Yogi's Gang. Other children's and cartoon shows he has been a part of include Flash Gordon, The Adventures of Gulliver, The Banana Splits, Motor Mouse, The Secret Lives of Waldo Kitty, Around the World in 79 Days, Alfred the Amazon, and as the father in Alice in Wonderland with Howard Morris and Sammy Davis Jr. Besides Magilla, some of Allan's best-loved voice characters are Sergeant Snorkel on the Beetle Bailey, Barney Google and Pumpkin Puss, teamed with Howard Morris as Mushmouth, and Bristol Hound. Today, though he considers himself largely retired, you can still hear Allan's voice work on the occasional new cartoon or commercial. Mostly you'll find him relaxing on golf courses in the Los Angeles area or near his summer home in Michigan. He enjoys visiting with his daughter Jennifer's family, including grandson John, who gleefully recognizes his grandfather's voice on various cartoons. Allan's other daughter, Amelia, passed away in 1970 at the age of 25. Allan's other favorite pastime these days is writing and collecting Higgledy Piggledies. One of the most recent creations has a Mayberry flair to it. Higgledy Piggledy Merchant Fred Plummer, cited for littering by Deputy Fife, vowed vengeance on Barn till he sampled his judo, then was humbled and glad to escape with his life. And that's an appropriate way to conclude this glimpse into Allan Melvin's career, because he is a congenial man who is always ready with a hearty laugh or a way to make his audience smile. One of the most universally beloved people to work in television, Allan Melvin keeps his grins coming wherever he goes. All right. We want to thank Jim Clark for allowing us to just be able to share that with you. Now, again, this is out of the Bullet, the newsletter for the Andy Griffith Show Reowners Club. When it was print, now there's an e-bullet where you can get for free. And this is from November 15th, 1997. Now, Mr. Melvin has passed away since the time of that article. He passed away on January 17th, 2008. So he is missed, and but wow, all the great memories he has given us over the years. You know, those two guys selling produce on the side of the road. Those are classics of the Andy Griffith Show. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed just learning a little bit more about the man. And I, again, want to encourage you, if you have access to them, go back and read all the old stories in the Bullet, because those were some really well-written and interesting stories about cast members of the Andy Griffith Show that Jim Clark was able to put together. All right, so that's it as far as the main content of the show. But if you're listening to this anytime in the near future of the time it's recording, I'm recording this on April the 6th. It'll hit the internet on the 7th of April, 2015. I want to invite you to join us. We're going to be having a meetup in Mayberry. Okay, so meetup in Mayberry, that's coming up the July the 17th through the 19th in Mount Airy, North Carolina. So I want to invite you to make plans. There's information out on our Facebook page. So if you go to the Facebook page and scroll down to where it shows notes, you'll be able to find all the information. So let me just tell you a little bit about it. We're going to be getting together, and we've done this will be our third year there in the gazebo at the Mayberry Motor Inn. I know you're going to enjoy that if you come with us. It's just a lot of fun to be a part of that. Sit around in the gazebo and watch episodes of the Andy Griffith Show there at the Mayberry Motor Inn in Mount Airy, North Carolina. So get your reservations now while they still have them. On that Friday, the 17th, beginning at 12:30, Betty Lynn will be at the Andy Griffith Museum. And we'll be heading over there to visit with her. So definitely want you to think about that. It costs you $10 to get a photograph that she will autograph for you if you want to get an autograph of Thelma Lou, Betty Lynn. Be a lot of fun. And we'll have other things planned throughout the weekend. But the main event is always in the evenings, getting together there at the Motor Inn and watching episodes of the Andy Griffith Show together, and kind of do the same kind of stuff we do here on the podcast, where we show things that maybe people haven't seen, or talk about things, or hit trivia questions. May have some singing, according to what I've been told. Some of the folks that are wanting to come are wanting to lead some singing of Andy Griffith Show songs, which I think will be a lot of fun. You don't have to sing. You can just come and tap your foot if you want to be a part of the festivities. But it's always fun. We've already talked to the folks at the Motor Inn in Alma, and the boys are ready for us. So get your reservations now and make them so you can be there with us at the Mayberry Meetup 2015 there at the Mayberry Motor Inn. So I'm really looking forward to that. Last year, I think we had about 20 to 25 people, I believe, maybe even 30 that came, and it was just a lot of fun getting to visit, because it's Mayberry Days is always very busy if you've ever been to Mount Airy, but getting together during this off season is always it's a little more slow and relaxed. So you got time to go shopping, go looking around at different places, go out and eat together, and just what's more fun than sitting around eating and watching Andy Griffith Show episodes? Wow, it's great fun. So if you got some free time in the summer, I invite you to join us. All right, what else was I going to tell you guys? I think that is it. Oh, at one point in the article, it talked about Allan Melvin making DEs. Now, if you didn't know what that was, it's a destroyer escorts. So he'd been involved in helping produce destroyer escorts during World War II. Pretty cool. Didn't know that. All right, folks. Well, that is all I have for us tonight here on the podcast, and I am so thankful that you have spent this time here with me in Mayberry. And I want to ask you, if you would, just give me a call at 888-684-8415 and let me know what you think about it. What you think about this story about Allan. It's a great name, by the way, Allan. Really good name. Yeah. But I'd love to hear from you. You can also email me at floyd@imayberry.com, or just drop by twochairsnowaiting.com, and you can find all that information there. Friends, thank you for spending time here. Get out there and share some of the Mayberry spirit, and we'll see you next time right here on Two Chairs.